Good evening, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to check out tonight's video. If you're a wholesaler, today we're going to talk about maximizing the opportunities that you come up with to make the most amount of money. I think we all want to make more profit while doing less work, and that's going to be the focus of today's video. Be sure to like the video. Let's dive right in. Here's the deal. On this particular property, I had the opportunity to wholesale it, and I would have made right at like $15,000. Don't get me wrong, that's not a bad payday. It cost us less than $2,000 to find this particular property. This was an A-class single-family residence. It was owner-occupied, was on a list that I'm not going to disclose yet. I'll talk about it later. Not in this video, on a different one. But we sent them a ballpoint marketing, kind of the full handwritten letter deal. And she called in and said, absolutely, yes, I would like to sell this property. Come out and make me an offer. I'm not going to get too much into our back and forth with her because the focal point of this deal is why you should take properties down yourself and do the work. Don't get me wrong, wholesaling's great. I kind of like the quick and easy cash, but I absolutely love doing flips like this one. So on this property, we only spent like $6,000 on actual construction. It was very, very, very minimal. This is almost close to like what I call a wholesale, which is where I buy a house, clean the carpet, turn around and list it. We don't really do much. On this one, we did a little bit more than that, but really nothing too serious. We kind of made our money on this one because we bought a great deal, not because we did like massive construction or value add on it, which if you're wholesaling and you're thinking, I would like to make more money on the deals I'm doing without having to do more money, these are kind of the ones you want to look for, right? $10,000, I view that as like a base hit. Yeah, we'll go second base, 20,000, third base, 30,000. Home run is anything over 40 grand. We're right at 41,000 bucks on this thing. We bought it back in September and we ended up getting paid on it today. That's right, real time. Literally, wire just hit, so I figured I'd whip out the camera gear and kind of walk you guys through some of the lessons that we learned on this particular property. I feel like my platform is just built on telling you guys everything that I do wrong. Now, the goal of that is to help you not make the mistakes that I've made. So I wanted to walk you through this deal a little bit inside my CRM. This is very simply, and kind of just show you like some things we did wrong. That way, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and not have to make them yourself. So this deal in particular, if you notice, the lead initially came into our CRM in July. We got an appointment set to go meet with the seller on July 21st. We ended up making an offer and getting the property under contract for $150,000. Now, we didn't actually close on the property until September 14th. So the seller needed a little bit of time to kind of get her ducks in a row before we were able to actually take title to the property. But this is where we messed up. So during that time frame, we closed on it on September 14th. We only did a really small remodel, but our actual remodel didn't even start until October 8th. So that's about a month's worth of holding costs that we just totally blew. That sucks. That's an extra $1,200, $2,000 potentially, right? So an extra couple percentage points that we could have made on this deal that by not having our ducks lined up, we just kind of totally blew. Now, one other thing you'll notice, we ended up, the property got bid up quite a bit. We ended up going under contract for $240,000. We did not do a full-blown inspection on this prior to close, like I talked about doing in my last video, which I'll link to above. And we got absolutely clobbered on things the sellers wanted done, including the roof, some deck stuff, some biological growth, mold, right? So there was all of these things that came up that ended up digging into this. Now, don't get me wrong, we still made $44,000, but had we started on time on this project, we would have probably made $46,000. Had we done the inspection up front and known about some of these items, we could have potentially retraded with the seller or fixed them ourselves prior to going under contract. We could have made $55,000 or $60,000. So you always want to be looking at ways to optimize the deal you're doing and see, is there a way to make more money without doing more business? And on a deal like this, absolutely, there was room for improvement. As always, I like to show you guys kind of the ins and outs of these deals so you can really see where the money went. And we're going to leave that in because why not be authentic, right? HGTV and some of the fix and flippers or wholesalers you might follow make it look like you have your purchase price, your repairs, what you sell it for, and the difference there is profit. And that's not how this works. So on this house, we bought it for $150,000. As I mentioned earlier, this is a very minimal rehab. These are my favorite flips to take on, where why we're making a lot of money isn't really value add, it's just that we got a really good deal. So we only spent $6,100 on construction, $120 on like some internal labor. We have a maintenance guy that kind of does some odds and ends for us. He spent another $695 on building materials. I forget exactly what it was he did on this project. $150 on landscaping, $450 for a trash out. We spent $374 to have the carpet professionally cleaned. We spent $1,380 on utility costs while we were just sitting on the property. Remember how we wasted a month? Would have been nice to not have that in there. Holding costs. So this is interest payments to our private lenders. I'm typically paying 8 to 9% interest on a 2-year term on a deal like this with the folks that I borrow money from. So they got $4,789 for while we sat on this. We had $600 in staff costs. So putting together sheets like this costs money. Paying things like the utility bills, I have to pay somebody to do that. So $600 in what we call like capital labor costs, basically our employees working on the back end of this deal, and another $160 on electricity. So all in all total, we spent $14,878.71, having us be all into this property for $164,878.71. So our net on this property, we ended up selling it for, after all of like the closing costs, the realtor commissions, and we also had to pay a $10,000 roofing credit, right at $208,000, $375. Did I do that right? 208, 375. Yeah, okay. So all in all, when it was all said and done on this deal, after paying realtor commissions, we had to pay like a $10,000 credit for them to put a roof on it. Kind of all of the prorated taxes, everything, our like gross sales price was right at $208,000, 375 cents. So I'm gonna pull out the handy dandy calculator here because we're super fancy. 208,375 minus our all in, $166,795. Oh yeah, we didn't address that. Marketing and acquisitions costs. We spent roughly $1,917 to find this deal that we then tagged to the property. So all in all the costs we put into this, our marketing costs, everything, our net profit on this deal was $41,580. Not a bad deal for something that took us 3 or 4 months. Obviously, we have multiple projects going at the same time, but worst case scenario, if you were kind of a solopreneur or just doing one deal at a time yourself, I mean, that's roughly $10,000 a month. Can't complain about that at all. You know, talking about my mistakes, just shot that little screen grab without even having my background light on. It's fine. If you find videos like this, deep diving the financials, showing my mistakes helpful, all I'm going to ask you to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please turn notifications on. We're not like cramming, you know, affiliate offers down your throat or trying to sell you some course for $4.99 or anything like that. The goal with this channel is to be the resource that I was looking for when I first started out, which is like, you know, people like to talk about, oh, buy another rental, do a flip. I don't really talk about how they find them, right? It's like, oh, go find a wholesaler, go find a realtor. The whole point of this channel is to equip and empower you to be able to find your own deals in your own inventory so your business isn't based on hoping somebody else throws you a bone. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. I hope that you learned the lessons we learned on this deal and have since implemented into our business. It's way more fun to learn lessons on somebody else's money than by losing your own. Or I shouldn't say losing, but yeah, we lost money. We would have made more money if our construction had started when it was supposed to, and if we'd done an inspection full-blown prior to purchase. My name is Ryan Dossey. I'm a buy and hold investor. I fix and flip. I also wholesale, and I also run a couple 7-figure, hopefully 8-figure companies here soon. Be sure to like and subscribe if you found this helpful. Talk to you guys next time.